What's up, everybody? Welcome to Michigan Golf Reviews Podcast. We're in episode number 6, which is kind of crazy already. And today we're welcoming the youngest podcaster ever, probably at 18 days, Calvin Rademacher. Woohoo! With Andrew and Zachary Guy as myself, Pat Evans. Tomorrow I'm getting out on Kaufman, the Kent County-owned golf course. I'm excited about that. I'm going out with my dad, Papa Mike. Zach, I know you just played it last week. Is there still a bottle of wine out there for me? And how were the conditions?
What should I start with, the wine or the conditions?
Whichever one you're more excited about.
I told you I would leave you the remnants of a bottle of wine on hole 13, but my friend and I got paired with another pair who, this guy, before I get into this guy had the fastest swing speeds I have ever seen in real life. He hit a 300-yard 3-wood into the wind, and he was like smaller than me. It was just like the sound his club made was, oh my God. Anyway, when he saw me pull a bottle of wine out of my bag, he was like, "Oh, you're drinking wine?" And so I shared it with him. And so there's no more wine, Pat. There might be a little dribble in my bag, but there's none on hole 13 for you, as I promised. My bad.
That's okay.
But the conditions were awesome. The course looked amazing. That course can tend to get a little wet sometimes, since there's a lot of low-lying parts of it. It was not wet this time. Fairways were absolutely awesome. Greens were pristine. In April in Michigan, just kudos to the team there for keeping that course up to good conditions. Good stuff.
I love it. Love it. I'm excited to get out there. And once I play it, Andrew, I think's played it enough probably that we can go ahead and do a rating. Is that probably right, Andrew?
That's a yes.
I think with Cal's presence, he's staying on mute.
I think we can make that happen.
Okay. Yeah. So if Andrew takes a beat to answer, it's because he doesn't want Cal to make any sudden noises that disrupt the rest of us.
Yeah, he makes a lot of normal baby noises for when he's feeding. So
me
good
too,
milk, man. Good milk.
So we're trying a new format this week. I mean, of course, we're always going to bring you the course review episodes, I guess, for lack of a better term. I mean, that's what it is. And then some interview episodes scattered in there. But sometimes we'll just kind of bring a bunch of topics in and kind of shoot the shit. And we'll see where we go from there. And I'm also testing Zach's production skills. If you're watching this, hopefully you'll see some things come on screen. If not, Zach sucks.
Oh, do I have to open these links?
Yeah, probably. Unless you don't want to.
No, I can do that. Yeah. I'm gonna be a super producer.
So yeah, if you are watching this on YouTube, please go ahead and like and subscribe and leave comments. Tell us what you want to see, what courses we should review, stories we should talk about, whatever. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast platform, if we're on those yet, I'm not sure. I'm not a good partner to Zach in this situation at the moment. Like and subscribe there as well, because that helps us out. Unless you're rating us as like a 2, then just
just move on.
Just
go to the good channel and leave that rating.
Yeah, exactly. So first up, we're gonna get to the Nelly versus Scottie debate, which I don't think anybody else is debating except for me. Maybe they are. I don't know. But it's the menus at the LPGA Chevron Championship this week. Nelly Korda, the defending champion, got to pick the champion's dinner, and it looks phenomenal. And so we'll read that through in a minute. But of course, Scottie Scheffler, the defending champion before the Masters, got to choose the champion's dinner. It looked less exciting to me, but let's go through those and see what we're talking about. So Zach, if you can go ahead and put the maybe should we start with the Masters one, you think? Because that was first.
I have now. Yeah, let's do that because that's like the first one that came along, and we're gonna compare Nelly's to that one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Masters one is always, it seems more kind of homegrown, kind of like what that person likes to eat is what I assume. So Scottie's had cheeseburger sliders, firecracker shrimp, Papa Chef's meatball and ravioli bites, which I would assume are his dad's ravioli bites. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe we should probably look into this a little bit more. Texas style chili is the first course. Main course of wood-fired cowboy ribeye and blackened redfish. with some family-style macaroni and cheese, jalapeno creamed corn, soy glazed Brussels sprouts, chipotle lime roasted sweet potatoes, and then for dessert, a warm chocolate chip skillet cookie with vanilla bean ice cream. I mean, all in all, it sounds like a pretty nice menu. I do like, you'll notice, Lodge cast iron on the, maybe not on yours. On mine, Lodge cast iron was one of the top comments and said, drop the cookie recipe, which I thought was pretty funny.
That's good. It's good
that's
social
great.
media.
Social media team right there on cast iron's point. So I guess, what are your impressions on this dinner, and would you enjoy it? Zach, we can go with you and let Andrew find time to unmute.
Yeah, well, Scottie's from Texas, right? I'm sure that's like the prevailing theme of a lot of the dishes here. Just the word Papa Chef or the phrase Papa Chef is pretty cool on its own. But I feel like it's a little, is the word parochial or provincial? I don't know. I'm trying to be clever here with my wording. It just seems a little like subdued for the Masters, like if this were my dinner and I was the champion, I'd be coming in with like surf and turf and some caviar, which we'll get to in a moment. But just some really good dishes that are like, I'm the champion. Here's my menu. I don't know. What do you think, Andrew? What does Calvin think?
Yeah, fitting that Calvin's burping right now. His menu would consist of one item and one item only. That's just milk. So simple guy over here. But I like Scottie's menu. I was looking at some of the comments on Instagram. One at the top. My algorithm apparently is much different from yours, Zach, because my first comment from Alex Spears, clubhouse bathroom about to be in shambles. Almost 1,800 likes, and I thought that was pretty funny. And then a couple comments below that, Cain, CAIN_OH. Did he just run back his old menu, which maybe he did, but apparently it works if that's the case. I appreciate Scottie for, like you said, Pat, kind of the homegrown menu here. But also, too, I think about like when I'm golfing, a golf weekend with my friends, and it's a bunch of fellas hanging out. Like, these are the types of foods I'm going to want to eat with them, right? Not getting too crazy. I think there's a good variety on there. I love chili at a turn, especially if it's cold out in the golf season in the fall. But yeah, Pat, I like what you said too about drop that skillet cookie recipe. So all in all, Scottie's got no hate from me here. I would love to get after this menu, especially that firecracker shrimp.
Yeah, and I think most Masters dinners, if I'm remembering correctly, are pretty similar to this in terms of being provincial to regional to where they're from, or just their favorite foods, which again kind of do seem to track Andrew's. I don't know what the right term for that would be, but yeah, not super fancified food, which we are going to get to here with Nelly's menu. Zach, go ahead and cue that up. This is the Chevron Championship Champions
While I'm doing
dinner.
that, I just have to say, Andrew, have you ever eaten chili at a turn?
Maybe not a turn, but in between multiple rounds in the same day at Lake Geneva in Wisconsin.
Yeah, okay.
So I could see it being great. Like I'm excited for us to get out on Western Greens, dropping the clue there for future reviews. Just because the Bloody Mary, which of course does not sound like a great golf course drink, but there it really hits. And I could see the same happening with a nice little bowl of chili. If you're waiting to tee off on the 10th and you're just finishing it up, it'd be great.
Nice.
Yeah, it's probably not the turn. I don't know, but I could add the turn or maybe to go, get a wide mouth vessel to just kind of
hold on, a bean stuck.
I played every year. The Mines in Grand Rapids has a chili open in like the end of October.
And that sounds perfect.
That's what I was expecting when I played it one year. The only time I played it, but this year it was not this year, but the year I played it was like 3 years ago. It was like 80 degrees and no one ate the chili because like it's just you're sweating. You're playing 12 holes of golf and you stop by the pro shop and you get a bowl of chili. It's not the most quenching thing.
That's fair. Let's move on to the Chevron Championship Champions dinner by Nelly Corda. So if you're not aware, the Chevron Championship is the first major of the year for the LPGA. They have 5 official majors. The PGA only has 4, but as Zach says, there are technically sort of 5, but unspoken. With the anyway, we'll just stay on the
With
menu
the Players
here.
Championship.
Yeah. We'll just I don't know. I don't want to go too far into the weeds there. So anyway, Nelly's menu is pretty incredible. If you're a foodie like myself, you like to go out and eat a lot of good food. You know, I've got a separate media endeavor called Saturday Sips, where I dive into the world of culture and food and beverage, and this would fit right in there. I mean, Nelly's starters start with Regis Ova hybrid caviar, big eye tuna tartare, cucumbers, green apple, and dill. Then you move on to cream of mushroom soup and a new crop onions with garden peas. Herb roasted filet of Snake River Farms, which is a great beef purveyor of Wagyu beef, with a goulash sauce, served with Greek deli salad, Sacramento Delta white asparagus, garnet yam gratin, glazed mushrooms, and then we move on to words I can't pronounce for dessert with a springberry dumplings, toasted poppy seed, and Tahitian vanilla anglaise. And it's all curated by the Michelin-starred Thomas A. Keller, the chef. And so this menu just blows me out of the water in terms of this is a place I'd want to go for a really fancy dinner, and it's a champions dinner, which is pretty neat. Again, I don't know if it's necessarily what I'd want at the beginning of a tournament week, like Andrew was talking about with Scottie's menu, but hey, let's, I don't know, which one of you want to take this first? Maybe Andrew?
Yeah. Pat, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was say the more words on a menu that I can't pronounce, the more I'm probably going to enjoy it, and it's going to be a unique experience for me. So, you know, I'll give Nelly that. This all sounds really great. I would try everything, and I'd probably be stuffed to the gills, like my son is right now, trying to get him to. Yeah, I mean, not what I would typically think for a golf meal, but that's all right. I'd be open to this, and I'm sure it's fantastic.
And Zach, you
Yeah, I appreciate the vegetable forwardness of this menu a lot. I love a good vegetable. I love good combos of vegetables, and Scotty's was very meat forward. Bean's a legume. It's not really a vegetable. But yeah, and the caviar just right at the front. It's like, I'm a champion. Here's some caviar, and at the end, here's a dessert you can't even pronounce.
I'll tell you what,
done, Nelly.
Back in when I lived in Las Vegas, there were copious amounts of bumps of caviar done at restaurants.
Well, yeah.
It was weird. That was the first time I was introduced to a bump of caviar.
It's an interesting phrase, caviar bump. Would you like a caviar bump, sir?
Well, people do bumps of other
caviar,
things.
It's like, no thanks, I don't do drugs.
Anyway, so that was a fun little dive into menus that champions get to pick. I wish I got to pick a menu for anything. I guess I do sometimes. That was a dumb comment. My bad.
You make meals at your house? Or?
Yeah, I guess I can do that whenever I want. So anyway, thank you so much for listening to that. Go ahead and like and subscribe us. Tell us if you've got other menus you want us to review. Zach, are you drinking an espresso?
I am. Well, it's a kind of a cortado. I hybridized it.
It's a very fancy glass too.
Time.
Let's move on to our next subject, Fling golf. This kind of, I first saw this, I think last summer, and it's really goofy. It's people with sticks that you put the golf club or the golf ball in the end of it, and you go ahead and you yeet it from the tee box instead of hitting like a driver. And then apparently, I think by looking at the videos, you putt like normal with the end of it. And my question is, how many of these Fling golf sticks do you have to have in a bag? There's all sorts of questions that come up. I personally think it's a little silly. Why would you not just play golf? Like, isn't part of, like, it seems like it's an easy version of golf. Like, what? Like, people got sick of, I don't know, topping the ball into the weeds, and I don't know. But part of the fun for golf for me is being bad and trying to get better. Zach, what are your first, takes on this?
Go first, Andrew. Do you want to start?
Andrew seems also pent up in rage.
Yeah. It took me all of about 15 seconds scrolling this Fling golf website to get enraged. I think there's no place for this on the golf course. This is something, if you want to do it, go to a park. I just It's fine. You know what? I'm not gonna knock it. If it's somebody, if somebody likes to do it, obviously people are getting into it. That's great. But I think if I saw this on a golf course, I mean, I guess I don't know if it's not keeping up pace of play, whatever, do your thing.
Yeah.
But to me, it kind of I my first thought was how I have a stupid enragement with people who, when they're playing fetch with their dog, have those sticks that they fling the ball. And it's like,
Yep.
just throw the ball with your arm.
Some people can't throw though.
It's true.
Yeah, I guess. But if they've got an arm to fling that with, then just like learn how to throw. Watch The Sandlot, listen to Benny the Jet teach Smalls how to throw the ball. I mean, he was an
actually
adult, took a 60-second tutorial. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like it's a little much. Disc golf is cool. I think that's different, right? With the setup and the holes and things like that. Even like that soccer golf is cool. I mean, obviously the holes are way bigger. So hey, I don't know. Any variation of golf, if it's going to continue to grow the game, great. I don't think this is something I will ever try. I think it's a little silly.
I think my main thing would be what you said. As long as it's not taking up tee times from actual golfers or slowing the pace of game, then I think I'm probably okay with it ultimately. Because disc golf is its own thing. It's through the woods, it's through the parks that just set up holes, and that's nice. And it's separate than actual golf. So I don't know, Zach. You said let's roast this as you sent it in our text thread. So you go ahead.
Put 3 minutes on the clock. Here we go. First of all, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't know why. I just get like so irrationally enraged by this. I think it's kind of hints back to what you said first, Pat, is like, to me, golf is such a sport of failure, and it's supposed to be hard. And that's part of the greatness of the game, is when you play it, you challenge yourself every time to not have a mental breakdown in the first 10 minutes. And Fling golf just, to me, like, simplifies it way too much to make it more of a purely recreational activity, which, again, I'm fine with. Like, pure recreation is cool. But man, I couldn't imagine paying an $80 greens fee to play lacrosse on a golf course. That would be hard for me.
I guess this brings up the question: do you think it? I mean, they could be hard, and we're just oversimplifying it. I mean,
could be. Yeah, I mean, I probably couldn't fling a ball that far. If I'm doing this motion, I'd probably throw a ball farther than I could fling it.
Maybe I'm going to bring up a bad idea.
No.
Maybe we should try it.
Oh no. maybe we should bring Jordan with us.
Yeah, Jordan's like a scratch.
Jordan, of course, is the composer of our great theme song, Round Hole Rock, in case you all forgot. Let's go ahead.
I would try it at the driving range. There's no way I could see myself doing a full round, even 9 holes, even 3 holes. Like if I want to do some golf that isn't golf, I'll go, mini putt.
Actually, there's a cool putt place downtown. We should go try.
We should.
I just learned about this.
Throw that on the review.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just play it at a park or like at like a disc golf thing, or like, why does it have to be on a golf course? It just seems like
we don't know that much about it. Just to be clear, listeners.
That's true.
Viewers.
We saw a video and
we have no idea. We just saw a couple videos.
Yeah, and I didn't look in to see which courses endorse, are ambassadors for this.
Yeah,
more power to them if they are and they're opening it up. But yeah, I'd be frustrated, like you said, Pat, with tee times too. I know I mentioned pace of play, but tee times, if these, fling golfers are getting in the way, that's going to be an annoyance. And I can also see this too as being something that people are doing just to goof off.
Yeah,
like I know that happens with real golf too. People that aren't taking it seriously, but at least they're playing the game the same way as everybody else, and it's not something new that's gonna throw everybody off.
Yeah,
I mean, it's one of the things. Like, I'm a purist at heart, and I only started really playing golf last year. But I was purist before that. Like, I love the Masters, and while I do like what's the one, the Waste Management Open.
Yeah,
that just seems a little crazy to me at times. Of like, okay, you're getting away from kind of what makes it special. But to each their own.
Could you imagine people
Anyway.
throwing beer at the Masters?
Right. Right, exactly. I love the idea of not having phones out at the Masters and that, and so that's anyway.
Yeah.
I've already told you to like and subscribe our podcast, whether you're listening or viewing. Go ahead and also subscribe to our newsletter if you have not. It's Michigan Golf Review. Just please do that. Zach, can you throw a little link in here somewhere?
Yeah. In the edited version, there will be a link right
Perfect.
Here.
So I like this next topic because Rory for so long would do this, not this bad, but choke at the Masters as he was trying to complete his career Grand Slam. But poor guy, Joel Dahmen, this last weekend was leading almost the entire weekend. Goes into the 16th hole on Sunday, bogeyed. 17th hole, bogeyed. 18th hole, bogeyed, and he loses. This was the Punta Cana Championship, a PGA Tour event. That's got to hurt. That sucks. I love this guy. He was great on Full Swing. He's a goofball. He's a sponsor of GDLD, Long Drink, which we love on the golf course. He's been all over ads for Long Drink on social media, offering to buy you your next round of golf if you sign up and you win the contest, whatever. That's got to be rough. Zach, have you ever choked that bad?
I guess I've never been in a situation to choke that bad. You know, like I've always been either on a team or doing like I was a swimmer. So they're like, you can't really choke in a race. You just like go hard and then you stop.
Well, what if you like just stop swimming during a relay?
That would be a choke job that I wouldn't
choke
do.
on water. That actually happened to me when I was swimming at middle school in the race. I was about to PR at 50 fly and I choked right before the wall.
No. I guess so you can literally choke in swimming. But to me, golf's different because, like, I mean, you're standing there, it's quiet, everyone's looking at you. It's a putt or a swing that you've taken, in Damon's case, hundreds of thousands of times, I'm assuming, maybe millions of times. And just like the mentality that goes through, or the mentality you have to go through that and succeed, to me is really hard. So I couldn't imagine. But I love Joel Dahmen and guys like Kevin Kisner, guys who show up every week. They're not like necessarily the best guys on the golf course, but they do play well. And man, they get a paycheck. And
they sure do.
What did Kiz say? They pay pretty well for 32nd place. So I'm all about it, man. Joel, keep going, man. Don't let this get you down.
Yeah, Andrew. I mean, you've already told us your choke story, so.
Yeah, that was one. I had a golf in a 2-man scramble a couple of years ago. We were up by 3 or 4 strokes, I think, going into 18, and we somehow tripled in a 2-man scramble the last
Wow.
hole. It was an epic choke. But yeah, to Zach's point, Joel Dahmen, like you said too, Pat, love the guy, awesome on Full Swing. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. Definitely, needed to reach for the tissues, getting teary-eyed when he was just talking about, his journey, everything with his caddy, their partnership, their friendship. I think he really, kind of elevates what we as viewers like to see, especially with golf, is these personalities and getting a peek into their personal lives. And he realizes that golf, is not necessarily what defines him, I think. So yeah, easy guy to root for, but just sucks to see him go down like that, because you want to see him win, and get that. But I also think too, like, like you said, Zach, with him and Kiz, like they don't expect to win, and maybe like I know his caddy too has said like they were showing in Full Swing like you got to kind of focus in more, like get it together more, man, and like maybe Joel Dahmen just doesn't have kind of that killer mentality that some of the top guys have, but that's okay. That's what's cool about golf is there's a wide array. Yeah, just hope that he's in contention, again soon and can find that W and continue to amp up Long Drink for us.
Well, hopefully he turns into Rory on the last couple holes there at Augusta, because that was awesome to watch. And have you guys seen the stats of what it was like or what the chances of somebody finishing with those shots were?
Oh yeah, it's like 1 in 100,000 or something.
It
like
was
that.
insane.
Birdie back to back,
back to back holes, like or whatever, and it was just some astronomical number. I'll find it, then we'll share it later.
I've definitely finished many rounds that way. So
I haven't ever in
Oh,
my
are you
life.
saying that badly as Dahmen did, or
No, I was.
sorry.
I thought you were saying as Rory.
what Rory did? Yeah.
What
Yeah,
Rory
yeah.
did is what I'm talking about.
I mean,
but-
I do when I fall asleep at night, but yeah, no, never in real life. Yes, Damon's choke I've done many times.
Oh yeah, I do
Yeah,
that
many rounds.
all
are
18
going
holes
well, and-
plus some.
or the opposite, where I was like, I'll finish with like par birdie or something, and I like to make the joke, especially if I'm playing with people I don't know. Like sometimes it just takes me, 15, 16 holes to get warmed up.
To
Let's play
warm up,
another.
yeah. So I think this is a fun little topic because everybody's got a bag and for golf, unless you're a fling golfer. And when I was starting, I got my first full kit last year. I bought a nice little Wilson. Shout out Andrew's hat. He's wearing a Wilson hat. Wilson starter kit. So I have to start upgrading here soon. I think maybe after this season, once I really get dialed in, maybe. Came real nice little bag, cooler situation, things. I got some balls, I got some tees, and that was about it. Then going to the golf course, I'll throw in a cigar or two, maybe, and then generally the glove, I'll put in the glove too. And that was my kit last year. And then after Zach and I played, where do we play? Quail Ridge, and noticing no ball washers, as I complained about in our review of that. I remember having, I think both of you have them. I've used them, I think both of you. The little brush on a wire. I love that. And I got a little towel. So I've got that now this year. I just bought that last week. I'm excited to use it for the first time tomorrow. And so far that's it. That's, maybe I'll throw in a couple beers if I'm playing somewhere that has, I know we're not supposed to bring beers in most places, but don't check my bag, people. So yeah, Andrew, what do you have in your bag and why is it important?
Outside of clubs,
Yeah, well, obviously you're going to have clubs in your bag.
you want me to go through every club? No. I have a lot of things that, I've definitely amassed over the years of it only takes one round to not have it. And you're like, better safe than sorry, keep it in my bag. At the top of my list, when I was writing it down, maybe I was just going of like importance or things that I've been without and really needed, going off of what I just said. So first thing I have on my list is toilet paper. I keep a roll of toilet paper in my bag.
Interesting.
Never know if you're going to be in a pinch and need that.
If you had chili at the turn,
Yeah, there's not always a bathroom on hole 11 for you. So. Yeah, that obviously you can use that multi-purpose too. Sunscreen. I like to keep a Yeti koozie in my bag. I do keep usually like a couple other koozies it's always fun to be able to throw that at a friend who might not have one. Something that I got for free, just keep it, whatever. But yeah, my Yeti koozie is awesome to have just for, keeping beers cold, obviously. Water bottle, typically, try to refill that, try to stay hydrated. Hand sanitizer. Again, this kind of goes in line with the TP if you don't have a fresh water source, but the water bottle can come in hand there. Towels, like you said, Pat, usually like to keep some spares as well. Tees, balls, ball markers, repair tools. I like to keep a Sharpie or two as well, just be able to mark my ball as needed. Usually a pencil and pen also. So club cleaner, I usually refresh this like once a year, just so the bristles can get worn down and things like that. But that's, coming into play almost every hole, really. Let's see, speaker typically keep on me. I'm not always one to have to listen to music, but if the opportunity calls, I like to have that available. Extra layers, typically another glove, a backup glove, snacks, sunflower seeds. I will say that I hate seeing sunflower seed shells on the greens.
Yeah.
Clean it up, spit them anywhere else but on the greens. Chapstick, cash, and at times an umbrella, if I can fit it into my bag. Usually I can slide it into the same slot.
How big is Andrew's bag?
It's the biggest bag I've ever seen, apparently. Zach, besides a bottle of wine, what else do you have that Andrew might not be carrying in his survival pack?
Well, probably the most obvious answer is a corkscrew because you got to open the wine with something. But yeah, the water bottle thing is huge for me because I'm a sparkling water drinker, and they don't really have that on the golf course. So I generally have to bring like 2 giant things with me. But yeah, I'm other than that, chapstick. I'm a pretty bare essentials guy when it comes to the golf course. Other than the wine and the corkscrew, um, granola bar, about 50 balls.
And not everything that Andrew's carrying with him.
I
I mean, if I
like-
need something, I'll ask Andrew, I guess.
I will lighten my load. I will lighten my load, with my bag if I'm walking for sure. But I also I also usually have my push cart too if I'm walking.
Yeah.
So
So
you can hang a couple extra things off of it.
yeah, basically a closet at that point. I've got hangers and stuff. Yeah, when I was making my list, I was like, am I golfing or am I going camping for a long week?
The
sounds
cash
like
thing.
camping.
The cash thing, though, that's a really key one that I started doing not too long ago. Keeping 5s and 1s in your golf bag if you need them as tips, or if you just want to buy a beer on the course, or sometimes I stick them to the golf cart if I see the cart drop off is really backed up. Give the cart attendant a tip or something. That comes in handy all the time.
Yeah, tip your cart girls, tip your cart guys.
Absolutely.
Tip people. That's a good life rule. Except for at the weird coffee places or the places where you don't actually get service and they're trying to.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Like the gas station, I'm pumping my own gas. Would you like to leave a tip? That doesn't happen. I'm just kidding.
Anyway, we're moving on to our next subject. We got 2 more. Hopefully we can make them quick because we're hitting a long time now. So Zach, this is kind of along the lines of a beginner golf talk of, what should you have in your bag? I remember last year when we were playing, I had a couple bad lies here and there, and you're like, just toss it over there. You don't need to try to hit over that or hit over, next to this or whatever. And we don't give you an extra stroke or anything. I like that, especially as a beginner golfer, because it's like, okay, you're not going to penalize me for this really shitty lie that I've never even thought to practice or come across or whatever. It just seems really nice. So I guess why do you take that approach?
Yeah, I when I first started, I was one of those people who was like, don't touch the ball, play it as it lies, because I felt like I had to. I felt like I was cheating if I didn't. But golf is such a hard game, and it's already hard enough that once you get out of position and you hit a ball off into some rough area and you're behind a tree, it's already hard enough and you're going to lose a stroke anyway. So especially as a beginner, there's no sense in trying to hit a hero shot that's going to fail. Just move your ball to a little bit better position or fluff it up in the rough a little bit so you can actually get some good contact. If you do get it on the green from 200 yards out from a fluffed lie, I will just high five you and say, great shot, because it's not going to happen that often, especially if you're a beginner golfer. So, keep the game fun as you're building your skills. But if you're like a sub, like 16, 17, 18 handicap, I'm going to judge the heck out of you at that point.
Andrew, how do you feel? I mean, I generally like this because it helps me speed up the game, makes me sure I'm not just, whacking at it and barely moving ahead. I like to keep the pace. I like to be a fast golfer. Do you? Generally nobody you're playing with is gonna really judge you. I don't think, if you're just moving a ball a little bit and whatever. But Andrew, how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing with people who are going to judge you that then you need to get new friends and start playing with other people, because it should be enjoyable. I mean, unless you have a ton of money on the line, or unless, I mean, you're golfing at a member guest, or you're part of a club and you've got to keep your handicap and all that really matters. Yeah, absolutely. To Zach's point, change it up a little bit. If you're in the rough, stay in the rough, but give yourself a window. I'm not talking about changing, going from rough to fairway or sand to fairway. I mean, you still should hit the shot out of where you ended up. But to your point too, Pat, definitely anything that's going to keep things moving along, keep the frustration levels lower, instill more confidence in a new golfer. All that stuff is good. And I mean, even too, like if I'm playing and I hit a drive in the fairway, right, and maybe it's a little wet out there and I've got mud, and it's like, well, there wasn't a, pick, clean, and replace sign out in front of the clubhouse today. I'm still going to do it because it's like, I'm not going to penalize myself for hitting a good shot. And then you're like, oh, well, the pros hit mud balls, so I need to too. Definitely not going to do that. So I think it's all up for interpretation of how you want to do it. And if you can sleep at night, great. And your buddies shouldn't be knocking you for doing things that's going to make you enjoy the game more, improve, and just like we've talked about, keep that pace going.
I think if you're shooting over 100 at courses, you're probably okay to just kind of give yourself a little better lie.
Yeah.
I say.
Yeah.
The last topic today has been bothering me for a long time. Jon Rahm has always looked like something to me, and I could never pinpoint it. I don't know why. But finally, a user, I don't know what it's supposed to be, but CDN Scruss, figured it out for me on Reddit. Zach, can you go ahead and share this?
I can't access the link.
Come on.
This is a production fail here. I wonder if I can get one of those like timers that says we're experiencing technical difficulty.
I can share.
I think you can.
Can I share my screen?
Yeah, please do. And it's this guy. He says, Jon Rahm doesn't get nearly enough credit for his role in Inglourious Bastards. And he looks just like him.
Oh, that's it. You know, he always did kind of have a familiar look to him. I just didn't realize it. But,
right.
Oh, man.
It's the guy who, in the opening scene of, if you're not watching on YouTube, the guy in the opening scene of Inglourious Bastards where Christoph Waltz questions him and this guy offers him a glass of milk. And it's one of the greatest opening scenes of a movie ever. But it's the farmer from Inglourious Bastards. It blew my mind when I saw this.
Yeah, that's pretty uncanny.
So there that is. Just really took a monkey off my back. Is that something I can say?
I think so.
Anyway, thank you, of course, for listening to Michigan Golf Review. As always, please go ahead again and give us a like, a subscribe to our newsletter. Just keep listening. You know, comment where we should play golf, where we should review, what we should talk about, what we should keep in our bag. You know, tell us what you think about
what am I
improving
missing?
lies. What
am I missing in my bag?
Yeah, what is Andrew missing?
What's the one thing?
Andrew, can you go ahead before we wrap up here and send me that list of things you put in your bag? I'm going to put it in the newsletter, and then I'm going to have people comment of what you're missing.
I think I just deleted it. I had it just typed up as an email draft, but I think I can draw it up.
Edit, undo. And yeah, by all means, tell us what you think of Fling Golf.
Yeah, do Fling Golf too. Awesome. Well, until next week, guys, take it easy. Hopefully we'll get out on the course all together soon. Cal can come, get him swinging early. But yeah, thanks for listening, and see you next week. For Andrew and Zach, I'm Pat.